it's recording.
Okay, greetings. This particular segment is on sprouting and the different varieties of sprouting. We're going to be sprouting from the soil. We're going to be sprouting from containers with water in it, and we could also use sprout bags. What we did was we had different seeds that we soaked for maybe 2 to 3 hours. This is sunflower sprouts, sunnies. We soaked them for a couple of hours. Pea green. We have wheat berries here. Okay, and this is kidney bean. Okay, so what we do now is, since we had it soaked, we're going to pour the water off in a strainer. That should be enough. The same thing with the sunnies. We're going to pour the water off. Pea green, the same thing. We pour the water off. Okay, we'll take these outside now, and we're going to be planting these sprouts in soil. Okay? I want to stop it now. To sprout in soil, we have a good medium. It's called Lambert. We find this particular type of soil never misses. Whatever we put in this soil always germinates. Now, depending on, we're going to be sprouting in containers like this, as well as in pots. Depending on what you're sprouting will determine the depth of soil that you need. For the wheatgrass is going to go in this, and the sunflower sprouts we're going to do in this. So, you take the soil, you take a couple of scoops. I'm going to be filling everything with the soil right now. These particular pots, the depth of this particular pot here is about that much, about half the length, and I'm going to be putting some radish and pea green in that depth of soil. You can fill it to the top of the container if you're sprouting certain things that wouldn't grow that tall. But things that grow tall, you don't need to fill the container with soil. The pea green will grow to be like 6 inches high, which will give you access to cut it. But if it's a small microgreen, maybe like amaranth, it grows to be about this tall, so you would need to have the soil above here that you could have access to cut it. But things that grow tall, you don't need to actually fill the pot. So I may have to open this one here. So what we do now, we just level this out in the container. Level it out. I cut a piece of stick the same length of this so that I could just level it out with this. You could also use your hands and level it out. Okay, this is the sunnies. We're gonna just sprinkle them liberally. You can be very generous with this. You get a nice thick bed when it's germinated. This is 1 cup of the dried sunnies that I soaked.
So that would be black oil sunflower seeds?
I think you got it.
Yeah.
It's a small variety. Since I'm not the one that will make the seed crack and the roots go down and the shoot come up, I'm meditating now on the all-wise creator. This is the wheat berries that we soaked for about an hour and a half. I'm doing the same thing here, spreading it liberally.
They're easier to see on the soil.
Again, be very liberal with this. Fill everything you can. Don't overdo it, but use all the soil that you can. So you get a nice thick bed.
Is it okay for them to be on top of each other, or should every seed be touching the soil?
You don't want them to be too crowded, and neither you want them to be too spaced out. Okay. So that's for the wheat berries or the wheatgrass. In the pots now we have the pea. The peas, we take a handful of pea, we put it in the pot. 1 handful and a little bit more is all you need. 1 handful, put it in the pot. You see I have the pot that's half filled with the soil because the peas are going to grow tall and I'll have access to cut them. Okay, we'll do another one of pea, 1 handful, and now a half a handful, and then you're good. Be generous. Okay, so that's the pea. I have some radish here. Now the radish, a small seed like this, we don't have to soak. If the seed is very small and thin, we don't have to soak the seed. So this is for the radish. I take it and I spread the radish liberally. Okay, we'll do 1 more of the radish. This is also how I do broccoli seeds are the same way. I wouldn't soak the broccoli seeds because they're very small. I would just take them out of the bag and spread them here liberally. Now, you don't have to use the large containers for these items here. I'm going to put some wheatgrass berries now. You could also put the wheatgrass berries in a pot like this also. Okay, so I'm going to do one here for you so you can see how it turns out. I could have also done one pot of the sunnies like this also. Okay, whenever we do this now, we have to tamper it down. We just tamper it down lightly. I have my tamper here for the pots. I just take it and tamper it very lightly so it makes contact with the soil. And for these, I'm going to get my tamper for this. 1 minute.
While he's gone, we're going to look more closely at the beds. These are the black oil sunflower seeds that are used to make sunflower sprouts.
I have my tamper here. I had it made specifically for the dimensions of the container. I just put it in here. I tamper it down a little bit. I take it up. I come here again, tamper it down a little bit so it makes contact with the soil. It's making contact now in the womb. Okay, the sperm and the egg now is connecting. When you just tamper it like that, it's going to hold it together. Once you do it now like this, you have to cover it. The reason why you cover it, because again it's in the womb and you need the layers of darkness for it to really germinate. So maybe enlightenment comes from darkness. So what I use now to cover it is, you can use anything to cover it. I use this. You can use paper.
And what is that you're using?
This is my ground cover that I have on the floor, on the ground here. Before I do this, sometimes I water this before I cover it, or I can put it on here and water it afterwards. I have to water it. So this now, I cut some paper. I used to use coconut husk here for this, but I don't have any. You have to cover this again. This keeps the seeds moist all the time while it's germinating, if it has a little cover like this. So I cover it like this. Bismillah. Okay. Now I give it just a little watering, because the seeds have been soaking all the time. You don't need to waterlog the seeds, but it needs to have just a little water. So, just a little water. And I would do this once a day, this time of the year, because this is the autumn now. Once a day I would do this. Just water the seeds lightly.
Does it matter that these are exposed?
No, it's fine, because we're going to recover it now with another covering.
Okay.
I'm going to use these now to cover it again, like this. This again gives it another layer of darkness that it can germinate quickly. So this is to make it moist, keep the moisture in, and this is the covering again to give it the darkness. And these here, I would cover these here with another container like this. We're ready to go to the spaceship. Now, this is not very difficult.
No.
Okay? It's not very difficult at all. This is sprouting using the soil. We have seeds, peas, grains that we're sprouting here now. So we're going to go over here now, and we're going to put them in the spaceship here, where they're going to be sitting in there. And I'm going to water them again tomorrow, and within 2 to 3 days we'll check on the progress of them with the video. So we take them all over here. Could even leave it like that. These we did last night. So this is how the sunflower sprouts look after 1 day. And I'd water them again tonight, a little light watering, and I would keep the cover on. I keep the cover on until they germinate, till I see the stem growing and maybe a few leaves. Then I would take the covering off and leave it to get the photosynthesis, which would be about 3 to 4 days. All the covering will be off and they'll be exposed once they've germinated. I think this is radish that we did last night. I'm going to peel it back, and you see they're germinating already. Radish doesn't take that long. Within 3 days, I'm going to take the covering off, and you're going to see everything is going to be germinating and shooting. You're going to see the small green leaves coming up. So this is overnight this happened. Okay? So we'll put that back. So within 3-4 days time, you're going to be seeing growth going on. And this is also a metaphor for us of when we plant a seed within us, how do we grow? And how long does it take? It can take a minimal amount of time, like the radish. The wheatgrass may take a little longer. Everything has a time that it needs to really germinate and get what it needs. What does it need? Number one, it needs some care and attention. Okay, the seed, the idea needs some care and attention. I have to come every day. I have to water it every day. I have to give it the elixir of life every day. Every day I have to come and make sure that I nurture it. So whatever idea we have, it's the same way when you're sprouting and growing things. You can see what you have to do to nurture your idea, to grow your idea, to cultivate your idea. All these things come from growing things. So we're not just growing it to eat. There are lessons in what we do for our inner growth. And inshallah, Allah willeth, within 7 or 8 days, you're going to see the manifestation of the idea and the time and energy we put in. You're going to see it displayed here. It's going to be wonderful to see. Okay, so this is again sprouting in soil. We're going to go inside now. We're going to show you how to sprout in some different mediums inside. Okay? Let me know when. The reason why we have this, we had an iguana problem here in South Florida. The iguanas now have taken over, and they come in and ravage whatever you have that's succulent. Anything that's nice and nutritious, that's the first thing they go to eat. I had one here today. I didn't get him. I have a BB gun. I take care of them now. But I had to build this hatch in order to have the sprouts growing outside. Okay, the hatch is nothing. It's made again from pallets. It's just pallets, just like the seat here is made from pallets. The pallets didn't cost any money. You pick the pallets up and you can recycle and make things like that. Okay. We also grow sprouts inside. We actually have sprouts all over the house on the interior also. Just to see it grow, it's a wonderful thing to see. Okay, we lock it up so rodents can't get in. Okay, so there's really no excuse. Any little difficulty you have, if we had a difficulty and we gave up, humankind would not be able to feed themselves. So whatever problem exists, you have to come with a way, and that's why we're humans. an ingenuity way of solving the problem. This is to solve the problem here. Okay? All right, so let's go inside now when we deal with the other types of sprouting.
Okay.
Again, another way of sprouting. Generally we soak all the seeds except for the small seeds, as I mentioned before. The beans and things like this we have to soak so that they can suck the water up within them, so they need that water in order to germinate. So I have these particular red beans here soaking. I'm going to pour the water off again. Okay, I could leave it in this container and cover it, and within 2 to 3 days it's also going to start sprouting. I could put it in this container and leave it also. Sometimes I have holes in the bottom of the container here for drainage. You drill a couple of holes here and it's great to put the sprouts, put the beans back in here. Or I could put it in the bag. I could put it in a bag like this. Okay? It could be a sock. It could be pantyhose. It could be whatever it is. You could put the sprouts in here also to give it a medium or a containment for it to grow. Okay, so we're going to leave this. Let's put this back in here for now. I'll just put it back in here. Okay, tomorrow I will come. Whenever you walk by, just shake them around a bit. Shake them around a little bit. You don't need it for it to be too wet. I would observe it every day. Some seeds and beans need less water. The enemy could be water, but the life force is also water. Look at that. So too much of something can kill you, and you just need a little bit of it enough for you to grow and sparkle. So I'll come tomorrow, I would look at it, I would shake it around. It needs air. Whenever I walk by, I would shake it around. And I would see tomorrow if I have to add a little water to it. Now, if I add the water to it, because I have no drainage, I would pour it back in here so the water can run through and then put it back in here. But as I said before, sometimes we make little holes here in the container. Could be a yogurt container, so when you do water it, it's going to drain out. You want to make sure the water is all out. Shake it around. Make sure that it has air. And I would leave it over here. Like that. It's good to cover it with something. And you're good. So you can sprout by using containers like this. You can use the soil, and I can get high tech and I can sprout in this particular sprouting equipment here. This is a no-brainer. I put water in the bottom of this. This is a motor. A pump, a small pump at the bottom here. There are levels here that I can fill it with water depending on how many layers I have, because I can go a double decker, a triple decker with this, but we'll just go with a single decker right now. Okay?
What is that called? Oh, I see the name.
Okay? This is where now I would put the second layer, the first layer. It fits right in, and I would put the seeds right here now. I'm going to sprinkle the seeds in here.
No need to soak.
No need to soak this. Okay, you can have a look inside now. I could put lentils here, I could put another one here, I could put another variety here, and it's going to look actually nice when you do that. So now I put this on top. This is going to spin when I plug it in and water it. It comes in automatically. It's going to water it maybe once every couple of hours. You're going to get a mist coming out and water this. All I have to do with this is to change the water in the bottom here every couple of days. Sometimes I put a drop of peroxide, food grade peroxide, in the water here just to make sure that it's nice and sterilized. But as long as you change the water every couple of days, you're going to be fine. So we cover it. It has a cover that I just broke. But these are good things. It means that the equipment has been used. It's not pristine and it stays on the shelf. It's been used. I cover it. I put it in its place. Right here. I plug it in. And I turn it on. I have to make an adjustment down below here in a minute for it to spin all the time, but this is how it works. This will come on for maybe 5-10 minutes every couple of hours, and it's going to wet the seeds, and within a few days these seeds are going to grow very tall in this container. The sunflower sprouts could have gone in here. The wheatgrass could have gone in here also. So there's many mediums that you can use to sprout. Because life has to go on. It's not one way that life goes on. You have the ocean, you have the earth, you have some things that grow in the air. And while you're here, please photograph that for me back here on the wall.
It's the 42 ideals of my aunts. So we're on video, but here it is.
Okay, and get me one of this also. It's my life force, my mother, Josephine, that passed away recently, became an ancestor. Okay, so we're going to continue again tomorrow to show you the progression of the sprouts. Okay, so that's basically it. We sprouted in the soil. We sprouted in using water and automated machine. We're sprouting in vessels like this container here, or a bag. So all of these things you use to sprout in. So it doesn't matter if you live in New York City in an apartment. You can sprout like this without the soil. If you have the soil, it's an added advantage for you. Okay?
Okay. Okay, so here we are at day 2 of our sprouting challenge. We wanted to take a few minutes and look to see how everything is coming along. Okay, so here is the chickpeas, the garbanzo beans, and they're sprouting. As you can see, some of them have little tails on them. Okay, so that's the garbanzo beans. Here are the red peas. They're a little slower. You hardly see any additional growth on them in 2 days. We're going to keep watching. Here are the green peas. 2 days of growth. These are the ones that are not obviously planted in soil, and you can see the amount of growth in 2 days. Remember, as you are growing your sprouts, to shake them up if you're using the method, this particular method that we're showing. Shake them up. Here is the wheatgrass. The wheat berries have sprouted. You see they made a fine network of roots as they grow. This is the wheat berries. Here are the lentils. This is 2 days of growth on typical lentil seeds that you can sprout. 2 days. Okay, so now we are in the yard and we are approaching what we call the spaceship, which is our enclosed enclosure for growing the sprouts undisturbed by the various wildlife that lives in the vicinity. So we're gonna enter and we're gonna take a peek at what's growing and see where we are after 2 days. Okay, so here's the radish that we showed you a couple days ago when it was just peeking up from the soil. This is the radish. These are radish seeds. And you can also see how it's growing out of the bottom of the pot. Oops, sorry. It's growing out of the bottom of the pot, the roots. And then, let's see. This is wheatgrass. So the wheat berries that we planted 2 days ago have now reached this stage of growth. 2 days of growth. Also, as you can see, it's growing out of the pot as well. This is actually going to be, later today, we'll probably take off these covers because now we need for them to get green. We'll show a little later how to water everything. Okay, so let's peek here. All right, so here's wheatgrass. See? The wheatgrass that we planted 2 days ago. Here we are today. So that's a couple of inches of growth, or 1.5 inches or so. And we're going to uncover them tomorrow, most likely, so that they can start greening. Here's more wheatgrass. Same comment. Okay. So this is radish. This is a little older than the previous one. No, not right now. Not now. You can do that a little later. Okay, and the peas are a little slower. Here are the peas. But you can see, just like the ones on the inside, they have grown a little bit of a tail. So I think that's a good review of all the things that are in here. If not, we'll give you a catch up a little later. At this stage, we actually want to keep them covered. Let's see. And that's it for right now, as far as the container is concerned. So what I have neglected to show is the machine, the Fresh Life machine that we put the red peas in a couple of days ago. It's kind of on hiatus right now. But you can see that they're sprouting. You can see the little tails. I don't know if you can capture it in the image here on the screen. However, they are growing small little tails. So that's our update on the sprouts, and we will be sharing more with you as the days continue. Okay, so this is a second view of the third day. This time they are out of the spaceship, so you get a much better view of the third day. Get out of there. What are you doing? Oh my God. The wheatgrass. And here's the wheatgrass in the pots. And here's radish. And here's the wheatgrass in the tray and the pots, but focusing on the wheatgrass in the tray. And here's the sunflower sprouts. Pound storm by Tomasita. And here's more radish. So what we're about to do is we're going to put them up for the night. We're putting them to bed. So we will continue. So this is a great view. This is what 3 days looks like in the sprouting. We've switched cameras and we're now in the carport. And Dr. Jata is here. We're about to make some, what? Bitter melon juice.
First of all, we're going to go in the garden and we're going to select a few items from the garden that we can use. But before we do that, please focus here for me. That's my mother, Josephine Burke. Lived to be 100 years and 9 months. Passed away a couple of years ago. All right, let's do it. So this is our garden. Could you pass the machete for me, sis? I think I have it outside there where I chop the coconuts. This is our garden here at the back of our house, and you can get the panorama here. I'm not the focus here, just get the panorama. This is a neem tree. And this was a rescue plant from a friend of mine that passed away, and it just has been superb. This year it has blossomed and bloomed, and this is the fruit from the neem tree. You can eat this. The leaves, different, huh? Mm-hmm. Yep, so this is the neem tree. Whenever we're juicing, we always pay honor to the tree by taking a few leaves, a few of the fruits. All of this we'll put in our juice. The value of neem, I'm sure you could look it up and find out the tremendous value of this plant.
It has amazing anti-inflammatory and anti-diabetes properties. It's also really good for the blood, and it repels pests, mosquitoes, and those biting insects, drinking it on a regular basis.
As we progress, we have the mother of plants here, the neem tree, the moringa tree, I'm sorry. So we'll take a few leaves of this. Okay, as we come along, on this side we have, since we have a banana here that's shooting, I want the banana to ripe quickly, so I'm going to take off this part of the banana plant now. It makes the banana now that would ripe a lot quicker than feeding this. This is a delicacy in the East, this particular part I have here. They saute this, they cut it into sections, saute this, and make a meal out of this. So we'll continue. This is the turmeric plant. I don't know if anybody's seen a turmeric leaf, but all these here are turmeric that we grow and which we use in our elixir product. It is the main staple of the elixir product we have, which is the turmeric is #1 for inflammation in the body, any type of inflammation. So we'll take a couple of leaves from here to put in our juice. Okay, as we progress again, this is the garden again. We have, this is galangal from the turmeric family. And this is the hottest time of the day for us. So the plants are, you can see that the leaves, need a little shade, but in a couple of hours they'll be back to normal. Galangal we have here. A few leaves from galangal. More turmeric, more turmeric. Take a little rosemary, which is tremendous for inflammation, rosemary. Forget me not. And
I see some little fennel.
over here we have some fennel. So we take a little fennel, add to the flavor of the juice. It's good to use the aromatic herbs in the juice to give you some flavor. This is, I don't know if you know what this is, but this is comfrey. It's a comfrey plant. So again, we would take a couple of leaves from the comfrey plant. That's going to go in our juice. More turmeric, more turmeric.
Huacate. I have to speak
Yes.
about my favorite. Huacate.
This is the huacate plant here.
It's also called black Peruvian
Mint.
mint.
Very aromatic.
Everything tastes good with huacate.
Okay, this again is our gratitude seat here where we sit in the evenings or in the day and we give thanks. Everything here is recyclable material. These are pallets that we make the chairs from. So you don't need to really be spending anything. We can recycle and use things that we find around us. More turmeric here. We have a lot of avocado and this is
Mango.
our compost here in the back here. Lots of avocado growing, mango plants. Everything is back there growing. Papaya, all from seed.
It's a little forest of its own. We throw the seeds back here and they do their thing.
We turn that over once in a while and we're going to be using that soil when we replant.
And that looks like this right here. This soil.
Yeah, this
This
is our
is-
soil for the garden here.
This is recycled, composted soil.
Whenever we do any sprouting, we take the soil from the sprouts and we turn it here and then we add some seaweed to it, and this is what we'll be using in the beds later on. You can use it as an amendment also. This is our sprouting area now. You can see we have a few things going here. We call this Enterprise B because we had an iguana problem here for years and I had to build something in order to grow. So again, this is all recyclable material. Pallets on the bottom, chicken wire. Takes a little energy, but you can see what you can do with basic things. Couple of hinges. This is sunflower sprouts that we're sprouting now. Okay, they're about 2 days old. In about 3 to 4 days, we'll be able to eat these. This is wheatgrass and wheatgrass. They're in trays, and then I put a few things in pots, as you can see. We have some again of the sunflower sprouts in pots, wheatgrass in pots. We're gonna uncover these right now, and I think we have some radish here. Radish, more radish, I think. Let me see. Yep. In a day or two, I will take off the cover and they'll be shooting up in the air. Radish takes about a week to grow. Oops. More radish, more radish. Okay. So we have a lot of moringa seed here. These are all moringa seed pods. We'll collect the seeds and we will use them to purify water. They have a lot of medicinal value. So we have to lock this back. Okay.
And this is Tulsi holy basil. We're growing a portion of it. We put that in the elixir also. We juice the flowers and the leaves of the Tulsi holy basil. Here's more huacate. Sorry.
Yeah, let's take some. This is the Thai basil here, and this is the holy basil here. So this is to make the juice very aromatic and makes it easier to drink. Okay, we have little parsley here.
I was thinking that was cilantro.
Parsley. Yep. And these are the lychee seeds that you planted here that's coming up.
Yeah, we have some good lychee trees in the front.
And this is the mother of mothers here. This is Coryllia cerasee. Excellent for the liver and gallbladder. It flowers to be a yellow flower with a red tip, and it's tremendous. This grows wild. It just grew by itself as a rogue plant,
It planted itself here.
and we'll be using that as time goes on. Okay, let's go back inside. Again, this is another rogue plant here that grew on its own.
I take the leaves every now and then off of here and juice papaya leaf.
Take one.
And this is also Hoya Santos. And this is a great leaf. You can put it into your juice. It in Central America, this is used as a tortilla, where they take this leaf and wrap the food in it in the same way we wrap collard greens or whatever. And that's how they use this leaf here. So we usually take one or two of those and juice that or add that also to the juice.
A few minutes ago, we just harvested this. It's a jackfruit. Tremendous for diabetic problems. We're going to be opening this today so you can have a look inside. We have a tree in the back there that's third year that it grew. And I'm glad I went this morning to pick this because this is just about to fall off the tree.
It had 13 jackfruit on there, 11,
Yep,
13.
we did well this year.
Okay, let's actually it's better in here even though it's dark. Okay.
So we're downtown Fort Lauderdale. If you look at us on the GPS scale, we're downtown Fort Lauderdale, and you can see in a small space of land what you can accomplish by your own little sprouting hatch, your microgreens hatch, and the other things that you can grow in grow bags, which saves the soil, and you can amend them every year. So there's really no excuse why we can't grow and enjoy the oxygenation and the vegetation. There's no excuse. Okay, so our machine here is a double auger machine. I'll show you what I mean real quick. It's a cold press machine that this is the blades. So it crushes the seed, it crushes the cells, and doesn't emit any heat. So you get all the maximum nutrition from from what you're juicing. We've had this machine maybe 15 years, and believe me, it's well used, and it's still here with us.
I don't know if it's a commercial for the brand. What's the brand?
It's called the Green Life or the Green Power. It won the award many years for the best home juicer. It's a Korean product.
Oh, it's kind of upside down, but it says Green Star.
Green Star, okay. Green Life, Green Star. Okay, these are some of the items that we'll be juicing today. This is the bitter melon. Okay. This is chocho or sapote.
Black chocho.
This is the green chocho. A little ginger, a little garlic, and we have all the things we harvested from the garden. Plus, the pièce de résistance is okay, the tuna. Okay, you can look all these up. They use this for anti-cancer treatments. and we're going to be juicing this, and we take shots of the juice we make throughout the day. Okay, so let's begin with my knife.
Also known as nopal.
Thank you very much. Now, because a lot of these things are mucilagenic, it's not going to run through the machine as easy as things that aren't. So you have to know, you have to run, I'll show you how you do it. You run some of this, and then you run some water through the machine so that it wouldn't clog up the machine and run down nice and smooth. I'll show you what I mean. All these things are washed. We use high grade
Hydrogen peroxide, actually.
right, food grade hydrogen peroxide. We cut these up a little bit. Ginger. Garlic.
So, to dovetail into what you were saying, I noticed that the things that we get out of the yard, like the papaya and neem and moringa and tuna, aloe, and those things there, when you juice them, they're very slimy and thick and
Correct.
gloppy. And I noticed that the cultivated things like kale and spinach and collards, and they make a very easy kind of easily juiceable juice. So I'm wondering why that is. And it must have to do with the molecular structure,
Yes.
obviously,
Yes.
of the things that are quote unquote natural versus the things that are quote unquote hybridized,
Commercialized.
yeah, into the food grade, because all of these things that you picked off of the tree, they're not in the food grid.
Exactly.
So they haven't been tampered with in the same way that the things that we are purchasing. Okay, he put the whole moringa thing in there. Woo! It just went right through the juicer. The whole fennel. Woo! See how it's gloppy? Look how it looks. Mucilaginous.
Turmeric leaf.
Look at that. Turmeric leaf. Look at that.
That's how the machine is. It's a wonderful machine.
Do they make them like that now?
Yeah, they do. They do. What we forgot to was to take a little aloe leaf. Sometimes we do that. This is the neem. The neem is going in. So I put some of the mucilagenic things, then I run something that has a little juice behind it. We also use coconut water in our juice. Whoa.
Real coconuts.
Put a little coconut water here. Again, to facilitate it going through. You should really pour this in a separate container so I don't waste any. And then I'm going to go back now to
So with all of that juicing that you just did, I just want to point out the amount of juice in the cup. You see all those things that we juice? It's like
very concentrated.
less than an eighth of a cup. All of that. It's so powerfully. This is when the food becomes concentrated.
So you need small shots of these and lots of good water. And the good water is we oxygenate our water. We show you what we do later on. Yeah. Bitter melon, sapote.
So we know that I'm on a little bit of a bitter melon binge right now because I find it to be so totally helpful with my energy level, my sugar addiction, it actually just stops it in its tracks. And I noticed that it feels as if my body is healing from the inside, slowly, slowly, with all of these aromatic and these green foods. Now we have maybe twice as much as we had, but still just a tiny bit.
So we use, how many coconuts would you say we use a week? I would say probably about 15.
20, I
Yeah,
would
maybe
say,
more.
yeah.
The coconut water is just like your blood plasma. So when you drink the green juice, the green is like your hemoglobin, your red blood cells. And the coconut water now is just like the blood plasma. So you're actually getting a blood transfusion when you drink this kind of juice. Very cleansing. It goes through the entire system. See, now it's all going to run out because we have coconut water is less viscous.
So now we suddenly have like a full cup. Need another container?
No, I think we're good here. We can continue later. Chocho, sabote. We can continue juicing later. That would be good for us for now. Sometimes we put turmeric in there, ginger. If we have that, we did put ginger this time. I'm sorry. We have the ginger leaf too in the back. We use the ginger leaf as well. And this should be our. We put this in shot glasses. Let me get a couple of glasses now, and we can sample this. I'll be right back.
Look at that color. It's so pretty. It looks emeraldish. Really beautiful particular shade of green. So this is to me like the real deal because you went out in the yard, you got the things that was growing, and you came and made it into juice, and within 10 minutes we're drinking it. Within 15 minutes of harvesting it, it's actually going into our bodies. And so that is living nutrition. This is some of the most potent anti-inflammatory things that you can do for your body.
Okay, here we go. Sometimes I put some aloe vera in this also, and I run that through the blender. But you can see how it pours. Okay, so we want to be drinking this as soon as we can. And believe me, it's going to be cleaning every tissue and every cell in the body. Very special lemons here. You can take a little lemon with the juice.
Don't fill it, please.
I have a juice hog in the house here. You know, this is her glass, by the way.
I just.
Uh-oh. Now you're exposed.
Busted. Thank
There you
you.
go. So if you drink this throughout the day, you can drink this every hour. You take a shot, take a shot, take a shot. Follow it with some good water behind it. Drink that, and then you drink some water right throughout the day. Look how we did this. It took maybe half an hour. The garden did its work for the last year to produce this, and within a half an hour we have juice for the entire day. We just take shots right throughout the day. So,
To life.
to life and health
Give thanks.
and the wonders of creation.
Expression. Oh, I can do it like this. Expression. Yeah, the real.
No matter what the expression.
Real
Drink
deal.
What is that?
Coconut meat.
Okay.
You can take a little something nice behind it if you wish. May take you a little time to get used to it, but you know, make it nice. So all these things should be done on a daily. There's no reason why you can't consume things like this on a daily basis. We walked out the backyard, we went into the garden, and we picked all these things freshly juiced.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. So,
We put this in the refrigerator again, and we'll be drinking this right throughout the day today. By the end of the day, we should have nothing left. And just like everything else, success is only for today. Tomorrow, we start again. Okay? Success is for today. Tomorrow, we do the same thing again. We start again. We juice and we consume. We don't want to think that it's difficult or hard. You're famous right now. You're famous right now. Tomorrow, we start again. So we put this in the refrigerator and we're good. Whenever anybody needs any, they just go in and take a shot, and we're good.
that was wonderful. I'm still drinking my shot. So, what we're going to do from here is I'm going to go and do the PowerPoint, share the PowerPoint, which gives some background information about who we are, what we do, and the different therapies and about the body. And then after that, we can just have you follow up a little bit about that, and then we could eat.
So what about the Qigong?
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Always ready for that.
Oh, we get Chico.
Okay. So we're going to go out here.
Yeah, we can do a Qigong right now since
Yeah.
we're in the backyard, right? Yeah. I have to speak up for Qigong, you know, because you're kind of passing her over, or him over.
Well, let's not.
Give it a voice.
I didn't want to do too
We
much.
have this all the time here.
Would you please move?
Always right in the middle of the doorway.
Could you please move? I guess not. Okay.
I'm getting ready to go to Chico. Oh, the Bantu is asking what's going on.